Beowulf. Translated by Francis B. Gummere. Read by Leon Stevens. Prelude of the founder of the Danish house. Lo, praise of the prowess of people-kings, of spear-armed Danes, in days long sped we have heard, and what honour the Athelings won. Oft skilled the chefing from squadron foes, from many a tribe the mead-bench tore, awing the earls. Since erst he lay friendless, a foundling, fate repaid him, for he waxed under welkin, in wealth he throve, till before him the folk both far and near, who housed by the whale path, heard his mandate, gave him gifts. A good king he! To him an heir was afterward born, a son in his halls, whom heaven sent to favour the folk, feeling their woe that erst they had lacked an earl for leader so long a while. The Lord endowed him, the wielder of wonder, with world's renown. Famed was this Beowulf, far flew the boast of him, son of Skuld, in the Scandinavian lands. So becomes it a youth to quit him well with his father's friends by fee and gift, that to aid him aged in after days come warriors willing, should war draw nigh, liegemen loyal. By lauded deeds shall an earl have honour in every clan. Forth he fared at the fated moment, sturdy Skuld, to the shelter of God. Then they bore him over to ocean's billow, loving clansmen, as late he charged them, while wielded words the winsome Skuld, the leader beloved who long had ruled. In the roadstead rocked a ring-dight vessel, ice-flecked, outbound Atheling's barge. There laid they down their darling lord on the breast of the boat, the breaker of rings, by the mast the mighty one. Many a treasure fetched from far was freighted with him. No ship have I known so nobly dight with weapons of war and weeds of battle, with breastplate and blade. On his bosom lay a heaped hoard that hence should go far o'er the flood with him floating away. No less these loaded the lordly gifts, Thane's huge treasure, than those had done who in former time forth had sent him sole on the seas, a suckling child. High o'er his head they hoist the standard, a gold-wove banner, let billows take him, gave him to ocean. Grave were their spirits, mournful their mood. No man is able to say in sooth, no son of the halls, no hero neath heaven, who harboured that freight. 1. Now Beowulf bode in the burg of the Scyldings, leader beloved, and long he ruled in fame with all folk, since his father had gone away from the world, till awoke an heir, haughty Healfdene, who held through life, sage and sturdy, the Scyldings glad. Then, one after one, there woke to him, to the chieftain of clansmen, children 4, Herogar, then Hrothgar, then Halga brave, and I heard that Elon was Ongenthos queen, the Hethos Skilfing's helpmate dear. To Hrothgar was given such glory of war, such honour of combat, that all his kin obeyed him gladly, till great grew his band of youthful comrades. It came in his mind to bid his henchmen a hall uprear, a master mead-house, mightier far than ever was seen by the sons of earth. And within it then to old and young he would all allot that the Lord had sent him, save only the land and the lives of his men. Wide, I heard, was the work commanded, for many a tribe this mid-earth round, to fashion the folkstead. It fell, as he ordered, in rapid achievement, that ready it stood there, of halls the noblest. Herot he named it, whose message had might in many a land. Not reckless of promise, the rings he dealt, treasure at banquet. There towered the hall, high, gabled wide, the hot surge waiting of furious flame. Not far was that day when father and son-in-law stood in feud for warfare and hatred that woke again. With envy and anger an evil spirit endured the dole in his dark abode, that he heard each day the din of revel high in the hall. Their harps rang out, clear song of the singer. He sang who knew tales of the early time of man, how the Almighty made the earth, fairest fields enfolded by water, set triumphant sun and moon for a light to lighten the land dwellers, and braided bright the breast of earth with limbs and leaves, made life for all of mortal beings that breathe and move. So lived the clansmen in cheer and revel a winsome life, till one began to fashion evils, that fiend of hell. Grendel this monster grim was called, March Reaver mighty, in moorland living, in fen and fastness. Fief of the giants the hapless wight a while had kept, since the Creator his exile doomed. On kin of Cain was the killing avenged by sovereign God for slaughtered Abel. Ill fared his feud, and far was he driven for the slaughter's sake from sight of men. Of Cain awoke all that woeful breed, Etins and elves and evil spirits, as well as the giants that warred with God weary while, but their wage was paid them. 2. Went he forth to find at fall of night that haughty house, and heed wherever the ring-danes out-revelled to rest had gone. Found within it the atheling band asleep after feasting, and fearless of sorrow, of human hardship. Unhallowed wight, grim and greedy, he grasped betimes, wrathful, reckless, from resting-places 30 of the thanes, and thence he rushed fain of his fell spoil, faring homeward, laden with slaughter his lair to seek. Then at the dawning, as day was breaking, the might of Grendel to men was known. Then after wassail was wail uplifted, loud moan in the morn. The mighty chief, atheling excellent, unblithe sat, laboured in woe for the loss of his thanes, when once had been traced the trail of the fiend, spirit accursed. Too cruel that sorrow, too long, too loathsome, not late the respite. With night returning, anew began ruthless murder. He recked no whit, firm in his guilt of the feud and crime. They were easy to find who elsewhere sought in room remote their rest at night. Bed in the bowers, when that bale was shown, was seen in sooth with surest token the hall-thane's hate. Such held themselves far and fast who the fiend outran. Thus ruled unrighteous, and raged his fill one against all, until empty stood that lordly building, and long it bode so. 12 years tide the trouble he bore, sovereign of Scyldings, sorrows in plenty, boundless cares. There came unhidden tidings true to the tribes of men in sorrowful songs, how ceaselessly Grendel harassed Hrothgar, what hate he bore him, what murder and massacre many a year, feud unfading. Refused consent to deal with any of Daneland's earls, make pact of peace, or compound for gold. Still less did the wise men ween to get great fee for the feud from his fiendish hands. But the evil one ambushed old and young, death-shadowed dark, and dogged them still, lured and lurked in the livelong night of misty moorlands. Men may say not where the haunts of these hell-runes be. Such heaping of horrors the hater of men, lonely roamer, wrought unceasing, harassings heavy. O'er Herit he lorded, gold-bright hall in gloomy nights. And ne'er could the prince approach his throne, 'twas judgment of God, or have joy in his hall. Sore was the sorrow to Scyldings' friend, heart-rending misery. Many nobles sat assembled, and searched out counsel how it were best for bold-hearted men against harassing terror to try their hand. Whiles they vowed in their heathen fanes altar offerings, asked with words that the slayer of souls would succour give them for the pain of their people. Their practice this, their heathen hope, 'twas hell they thought of in mood of their mind. Almighty they knew not, doomsman of deeds and dreadful Lord, nor heaven's helmet heeded they ever, wielder of wonder. Woe for that man who in harm and hatred hales his soul to fiery embraces, nor favour nor change awaits he ever. But well for him that after death day may draw to his Lord, and friendship find in the Father's arms. 3. Thus seethed unceasing the son of Healfdene with the woe of these days. Not wisest men assuaged his sorrow, too sore the anguish loathly and long that lay on his folk, most baneful of burdens and bales of the night. This heard in his home Hugelac Thane, great among Yeats of Grendel's doings. He was the mightiest man of valour in that same day of this our life, stalwart and stately. A stout wave-walker he bade make ready. Young battle-king, said he, far o'er the swan road he fain would seek, the noble monarch who needed men. The prince's journey by prudent folk was little blamed, though they loved him dear. They whetted the hero, and hailed good omens. And now the bold one from bands of Yeats comrades chose, the keenest of warriors ere he could find. With 14 men the seaward he sought, and, sailor proved, led them on to the land's confines. Time had now flown, afloat was the ship, boat under bluff. On board they climbed, warriors ready. Waves were churning sea with sand. The sailors bore on the breast of their bark their bright array, their mail and weapons. The men pushed off on its willing way the well-braced craft. Then moved o'er the waters by might of the wind that bark like a bird with breast of foam, till in season due on the second day the curved prow such course had run that sailors now could see the land, sea cliffs shining, steep high hills, headlands broad. Their haven was found, their journey ended. Up then quickly the Wedder's clansmen climbed ashore, anchored there seaward, with armour clashing and gear of battle. God they thanked for passing in peace o'er the paths of the sea. Now saw from the cliff a Scylding clansman, a warden that watched the water side, how they bore o'er the gangway glittering shields, war gear in readiness. Wonder seized him to know what manner of men they were. Straight to the strand his steed he rode, Hrothgar's henchman. With hand of might he shook his spear, and spake in parley. Who are ye then, ye armed men, mailed folk, that yon mighty vessel have urged thus over the ocean ways, here o'er the waters? A warden I, sentinel set o'er the sea-march here, lest any foe to the folk of Danes with harrying fleet should harm the land. No aliens ever at ease thus bore them, linden-wielders. Yet word of leave clearly ye lack from clansmen here, my folk's agreement. A greater ne'er saw I of warriors in world than is one of you, yon hero in harness. No henchman he worthied my weapons, if witness his features, his peerless presence. I pray you, though, tell your folk and home, lest hence ye fare suspect to wander your way as spies in Danish land. Now, dwellers afar, ocean travellers, take from me simple advice. The sooner the better I hear of the country whence ye came. 4. To him the stateliest spake in answer, the warrior's leader his word-hoard unlocked. We are by kin of the clan of Yeats, and Hugelac's own hearth-fellows we. To folk afar was my father known, noble Atheling, Edgetho named. Full of winters he fared away aged from earth. He is honoured still through width of the world by wise men all. To thy lord and liege in loyal mood we hasten hither, to Healfdena's son, people protector. Be pleased to advise us. To that mighty one come we on mickle errand, to the lord of the Danes, nor deem I right that aught be hidden. We hear, thou knowest if sooth it is, the saying of men that amid the Scyldings a scathing monster, dark ill-doer, in dusky nights shows terrific his rage unmatched, hatred and murder. To Hrothgar I in greatness of soul would succour bring, so the wise and brave may worst his foes, if ever the end of ills is fated, of cruel contest, if cure shall follow, and the boiling care waves cooler grow. Else ever afterward anguish days he shall suffer in sorrow, while stands in place high on its hill that house unpeered. Astride his steed the strand-ward answered, clansman unquailing, the keen-souled thane must be skilled to sever and sunder duly words and works if he well intends. I gather this band is graciously bent to the Scyldings' master. March then, bearing weapons and weeds the way I show you. I will bid my men your boat meanwhile to guard, for fear lest foemen come, your new-tarred ship by shore of ocean faithfully watching, till once again it waft over the waters those well-loved thanes, winding-necked wood, to Wedders bounds, heroes such as the hest of fate shall succour and save from the shock of war. They bent them to march. The boat lay still, fettered by cable and fast at anchor. broad-bosomed ship. Then shone the boars over the cheek-guard, chased with gold, keen and gleaming. Guard it kept o'er the man of war, as marched along heroes in haste, till the hall they saw, broad of gable and bright with gold. That was the fairest, mid folk of earth, of houses neath heaven, where Hrothgar lived, and the gleam of it lightened o'er lands afar. The sturdy shieldsman showed that bright burg of the boldest, bade them go straightway thither. His steed then turned, hardy hero, and hailed them thus: "'Tis time that I fare from you. Father Almighty in grace and mercy guard you well, safe in your seekings. Seaward I go, 'gainst hostile warriors hold my watch." 5. Stone bright the street, it showed the way to the crowd of clansmen. Corselets glistened hand-forged, hard. On their harness bright the steel rings sang, as they strode along in mail of battle, and marched to the hall. There, weary of ocean, the wall along they set their bucklers, their broad shields down, and bowed them to bench. The breastplates clanged, war-gear of men. Their weapons stacked, spears of the seafarers stood together, grey-tipped ash. That iron band was worthily weaponed. A warrior proud asked of the heroes their home and kin, "Whence now bear ye burnished shields, harness grey, and helmets grim, spears in multitude?" Messenger I, Hrothgar's herald. "Heroes so many ne'er met I as strangers of mood so strong. 'Tis plain that for prowess not plunged into exile, for high-hearted valour Hrothgar ye seek." Him the sturdy in war bespake with words. Proud Earl of the Weders answer made, hardy neath helmet: "Hugelacs we, fellows at board. I am Beowulf named. I am seeking to say to the son of Healfdene this mission of mine, to thy master lord, the doughty prince, if he deign at all grace that we greet him, the good one now." Wulfgar spake, the windless chieftain, whose might of mind to many was known, his courage and counsel. "The King of Danes, the Scyldings' friend, I fain will tell, the breaker of rings, as the boon thou askest, the famed prince, of thy faring hither, and swiftly after such answer bring as the doughty monarch may deign to give." Hide then in haste to where Hrothgar sat, white-haired and old, his earls about him, till the stout thane stood at the shoulder there of the Danish king. Good courtier he. Wulfgar spake to his winsome lord: "Hither have fared to thee far-come men o'er the paths of ocean, people of Geatland, and the stateliest there by his sturdy band is Beowulf named. This boon they seek, that they, my master, may with thee have speech at will, nor spurn their prayer to give them hearing, gracious Hrothgar. In weeds of the warrior worthy they, methinks, of our liking, their leader most surely a hero that hither his henchmen has led." 6. Hrothgar answered, helmet of Scyldings: "I knew him of yore in his youthful days. His aged father was Edgtho named, to whom at home gave Hrethel the Geat his only daughter. Their offspring bold fares hither to seek the steadfast friend. And seamen too have said me this, who carried my gifts to the Geatish court thither for thanks. He has 30 men's heft of grasp in the grip of his hand, the bold in battle. Blessed God, out of his mercy this man hath sent to Danes of the West, as I ween indeed, against horror of Grendel. I hope to give the good youth gold for his gallant thought. Be thou in haste, and bid them hither, clan of kinsmen, to come before me, and add this word: they are welcome guests to folk of the Danes." To the door of the hall Wulfgar went, and the word declared: "To you this message my master sends, East Danes' king, that your kin he knows, hardy heroes, and hails you all welcome hither o'er waves of the sea. Ye may wend your way in war attire, and under helmets Hrothgar greet. But here let the battle shields bide your parley, and wooden war shafts wait its end." Up rose the mighty one, ringed with his men, brave band of thanes. Some bode without, battle-gear guarding, as bade the chief. Then hied that troop where the herald led them, under Heorot's roof. The hero strode hardy neath helm, till the hearth he neared. Beowulf spake, his breastplate gleamed, war-net woven by wit of the smith. "Thou Hrothgar, hail! Hugelacs I, kinsman and follower. Fame a-plenty have I gained in youth. These Grendel deeds I heard in my homeland heralded clear. Seafarers say, how stands this hall of buildings best for your band of thanes, empty and idle when evening's sun in the harbour of heaven is hidden away? So my vassals advised me well, brave and wise, the best of men, O sovereign Hrothgar, to seek thee here, for my nerve and my might they knew full well. Themselves had seen me from slaughter come blood-flecked from foes where five I bound and that wild brood worsted. In the waves I slew nickers by night, in need and peril avenging the wedders whose woe they sought, crushing the grim ones. Grendel now, monster cruel, be mine to quell in single battle. So from thee, thou sovereign of the shining Danes, Scylding's bulwark, a boon I seek. And, friend of the folk, refuse it not, O warrior's shield, now I've wandered far, that I alone with my liegemen here this hardy band may Heorot purge. More I hear that the monster dire in his wanton mood of weapons recks not. Hence shall I scorn, so Hugelac stay, king of my kindred, kind to me, brand or buckler to bear in the fight, gold-coloured targe. But with grip alone must I front the fiend and fight for life, foe against foe. Then faith be his in the doom of the Lord whom death shall take. Fain I ween if the fight he win, in this hall of gold my Geatish band will he fearless eat, as oft before, my noblest thanes. Nor needst thou then to hide my head, for his shall I be, dyed in gore if death must take me, and my blood-covered body he'll bear as prey, ruthless devour it, the roamer lonely, with my life-blood red in his lair in the fen. No further for me needst food prepare. To Hugelac send, if Hild should take me, best of war-weeds warding my breast, armour excellent, heirloom of Hrethel and work of Welland. Fares weird as she must,